We've seen a lot of different views, some in support, some against Zinzi Mandela's recent tweets. Generally, sum it up for us. What have people been saying?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've seen quite a social media stir, especially on Twitter, around the views that the ambassador has expressed over the weekend, talking about land thieves and apartheid apologists, as well as the call for the land to be returned to its rightful owners. And of course, we have seen a lot of backlash, I think, mostly around those views. We heard from, in particular, the DA leader, Mmusi Maimane, saying that the views, if I can quote him, saying that they were unfortunate because they attempt to blame government's failures to grow the economy on specific parts of the population. The Inkatha Freedom Party spokesperson also quoted as saying that the views are antagonistic and not going to aid the land reform project. But I think recently now, of late, we are seeing calls that are supporting and sympathizing with some of those views by the ambassador, in particular the EFF, saying that a black child should not be suppressed or should not be punished for expressing their views, that it was not hate speech what she was expressing, and what she is expressing is in fact a true fact around what happened to the land in this country and how it was basically stripped from black people. But in particular, I think one view that's really stirred a lot of controversy as well on Twitter is from one white South African, one Kim Hiller, in fact, who says that the ambassador's views are valid and that it seems that white South Africans just seemingly don't want to deal with what happened in this country and what needs to happen in moving forward with regards to land redistribution. Let's just take a listen to what she had to say, Jeremy.
The land debate in this country, to me, shouldn't necessarily even involve white people. White people were the oppressors. They were the thieves. I sit here as a white person, like every other white person in this country, and I enjoy the benefits daily of land theft and of what's happened previously. So the fact that black people are actually even asking for our opinion in returning land is, I said, a sign of their humanity. What we see counterbalancing that is a lack of inhumanity amongst white people to even acknowledge their role in this, to take culpability, to look at their lives and say, every day I sit here, I benefit, I'm a child of privilege, and I always will be. That they look upon black poverty as if it's something divorced from them, rather than as a direct creation of their own activity. And as you've seen, I've had an outrage from Twitter, which doesn't worry me at all. I find it just a confirmation once again that white people are not prepared to make any adjustments in their lives. And perhaps black people should stop putting their faith in white people, that they're going to change anything.
All right, Slee, let's get the official line now as far as DIRCO is concerned, the International Relations and Cooperation Ministry.
Certainly a lot of questions being raised, Jamie, around what's going to happen to the ambassador, especially following the calls from certain groups for her to be recalled, for her to be fired, saying that her views are undiplomatic and that, she's basically fostering divisions in the country. And so I think we have been looking towards the department in particular to find out exactly what they're going to be doing. We do understand that the spokesperson has been quoted as saying that they still want to especially verify the account. Also, Jeremy, just to bring in the Nelson Mandela Foundation as well, that's also disputed reports that it's requested a meeting with the ambassador around her tweets, saying that that is basically fake news. But in particular, this morning, we did speak to the minister to get that official line from government around what they're going to be doing. Let's have a listen to what she had to say.
We are currently trying to find out exactly what the source of these tweets are and what occasioned the need to respond in the way that the ambassador has done. We have a social media policy as the department, and it's absolutely imperative that all diplomats observe the policy. So once we've established whether this is genuinely a tweet or set of remarks from her, we will be able to assess whether the comments are in compliance with our social media policy.
All right, let's assume then that Zinzi Mandela is the origin of these tweets. What would happen then if she were to be recalled? What sort of effect would it have?
I think we really are trying to, of course, establish first whether the account is going to be verified. But I think it's very interesting to hear from the minister that they don't know. The department itself doesn't know exactly whether this account belongs to Zinzi Mandela, which is, I think, very peculiar, because if you're saying you do have a social media policy for your diplomat, then you should, of course, at this stage know which accounts are verified and belong to your ambassadors. But we did speak to a political analyst around what kind of in effect, or what kind of message the South African government would really be sending if it were that they're going to recall the ambassador. Let's have a listen to what Mr. Sipho Siepe had to say.
It will be sending a very wrong message. It will be saying to black South Africans, you are not allowed to issue or make statements that are true, that there is no room for any black person in this country, representing this government, who's going to create discomfort in terms of white interest. That it will be what I call a notion of what about white syndrome, that you always find some of the foundations very keen to embark on.